Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to this week's edition of Tease Towel. This is 30 weeks. This is 30 weeks in a row that I've done this. So I've had a couple of hiccups of different days, but being consistent with it. So I hope you've found some value in these, and I hope you enjoy them. And if you want to go back and see some of the old ones, just go into my page under my photos, pick videos, and do hashtag Tease Towel, and those will all come up for you. So I do hope you find these valuable. Today I'm talking about something that I need very, very badly. It came to realization of this recently as I realized there's a couple of goals that I didn't hit that had I been paying more attention, I would have hit. And so what we're talking about this morning is time management. And this can be really life-changing in your personal and your business world. We all have the same 24 hours a day, and it's how we use them. Another example, I did not look at my calendar this morning. I knew I was babysitting my grandson on a Tuesday, and assumed it was today, and got all ready to go, and happened to talk to my daughter before I went out the door, and it's next Tuesday. So these are some of the little things that can mess you up if you aren't using strategies for good time management. And like I said, it's the way you can hit your goals. I had a couple goals. One of my goals I really could have hit very easily had I been paying attention to where things were at and been more organized. I could have worked that little bit harder and gotten that goal. So so I looked into this and I knew strategies, but it's not applying them. And so I just looked into it a little bit and thinking of it as a good topic for today, because it's a topic that I needed to learn about and needed to hear too. So one of the first things you need to do is, we talk strategies and tools. One of the first things you need to do is set your goals and be very clear on your goals. You don't know where you're going. You don't know how to get there if you don't know where you're going, if you don't know where you want to be. So set those goals and then break them into smaller, actionable steps that help, that then you can create the tasks that help align with those goals and get you to where you want to be. Excuse me. So that is going to, by setting those goals and setting those smaller action steps to get there, is going to help you better keep track, or keep focused and keep track of your progress. The next thing is to make your list of tasks and prioritize them. There is a technique called the Eisenhower matrix that it actually has these boxes and stuff, but you categorize your tasks by urgent, by important, by non-urgent, and non-important. And placing those in those boxes kind of helps you figure out where you need to start, what are your most urgent tasks, and how to put them in an order that you can get things accomplished more quickly. So that's one of the techniques. It's not really a technique. It's just a typical thing that you need to do if you want to get things done, is to make your list and to prioritize your list. And then you're going to create your to-do list for that day. And it really makes most sense to make your list in high, most urgent and high priority, and go down from there. And really you can get more done if you do your hardest tasks first, particularly your high priority tasks first. And then crossing off those lists can be very, very motivating. There is a couple techniques I'm going to talk to you about. One is called time blocking, and that's where you take your calendar and you block sections of time throughout the day for all your different tasks throughout the day. I have to say, when I was young, particularly when I was in PT school, I was so good at this. I was very organized. I knew I had so much work to get done. I had to get it done, and I wanted to have time for fun too. So I did the time blocking, and I blocked out my whole day, actually down to every half hour of the day. But I got it done, and I had fun, and I was able to do it all, so to speak. As I've gotten older, I find it harder to do that. I find it harder to focus. I find it harder to, it's as if my ADD is getting worse as I get older. So I really need these strategies to be able to stay on on track. So time blocking is taking sections into your calendar and putting your tasks on there. There's another technique called the Pomodoro technique, and what that is setting, more like setting a timer. And I hate to say this, I purchased this timer probably 5 years ago for this technique. So you set your timer for, say, half hour. During that half hour, you're working on this specific action, this task. And then you take a break for a second or two, and then you set the timer for another 15 minutes or 10 minutes or however long, and you work on that task. And so it really helps to keep, you're only working on that task at that one time. You know, and really this, whether it's time blocking or whether it's the timer technique, it really helps you to focus on one task and avoid multitasking. It's so easy for us to try to do multiple things at a time, and research shows most of us are not good at it. What it does is it places more demand on our brain, and it actually slows us down in the long run. There's only a very few people who are very good at multitasking. So doing something like this, setting a timer. So what I was going to say, I've had this for 5 years and I've never used it. So there's no excuses for me. I have this on my desk every single day. So that's a technique that I need to start using, and it can be a very helpful technique. So both of those, whether it's time blocking it out on your schedule and paying attention to the time and sticking to that, or something like the Pomodoro technique where you're setting a timer for each of your activities. One of the other things that can be helpful, it's easy for us to overcommit, overschedule ourselves. So giving yourself permission to say no to, because all that does is lead to stress and poor time management, because you literally do not have enough time to do all the things that you need to do. So it's okay to decline an additional responsibility or a social engagement when your plate is full. I have FOMO. I really have a hard time with that one too. So these are all techniques that I really need to take to heart and stick to them. So another one, and actually this one I found very helpful, is eliminating distractions, because it's well, one, shut off Facebook. It's easy to get into the scroll hole and just keep going and going. Turn off your phone or get away from your phone. Those are distractions that can all help you to, or that keep you from focusing. So getting away from those can help you to focus. Actually, what I've recently learned and have found very helpful is there is, you know, sometimes some people do well with music in the background. For me, I start singing, and, you know, if it's songs I like and things like that. Again, I've become a squirrel for some reason. But there's a type of music called cognitive music that is actually works with your brain in helping you to focus, and I have found that to be very, very helpful. One day I was going for a walk, and I wanted to actually really kind of meditate instead of listening to a book, and I put in Pandora, I put in cognitive music, but it came out study music, but it was really nice. It was more like orchestra music, like a violin and cello and some piano and things like that, which I found was able to decrease the thoughts and allow me to focus. But the cognitive music, Google that if you've never heard of it. There's some really good things. Actually, there's cognitive music that can help you to sleep. All of this, it's just, it's really amazing, and I've found it to be very, very helpful. Another technique is to delegate. Sometimes we find it hard to let go of all of our things that we need to do, but if we have co-workers or friends or family members that could take on a few of those tasks, give it up. Give them the responsibility and allow them to help you. There are various technology things that you can take advantage of, and if you're a technology person, that's very helpful to do that. There are productivity apps, there's, you know, of course, online calendars, there's time management software. Look into some things like that to help you to stay accountable. If using a paper calendar and making your paper list of things to do and using an old-fashioned timer is your thing, then, you know, that's fine too. But if you have that technology and can feel comfortable with that and take advantage of it, that's a great way to help also. One of the other techniques is learning to batch items. So look at your list, batch things that are similar, things that you need to do that are similar together. That's going to help keep you from switching back and forth from things to things. So things like if you have these certain people that you need to email or a message that you need to send, put those together. Or if you have some household chores thrown in there, put those together so that you're more efficient with your time. However, sometimes as I read that one, I thought of sometimes it's helpful to have one task that's maybe really focusing and then do a household task, throw in my laundry and do stuff to give me that mental break. So that's real important as you're doing this too, that you're giving yourself the mental break. Hi, Neil. Jan, if you guys say hi to me if you're watching this live. If you're watching a replay, please let me know. Hope you're finding this helpful. So again, that batching, learning to batch tasks. In the end, what's very important also to do is to take time after a while and reflect and adjust. It's kind of that plan, do, check, act, which is in my business life, that was something we did all the time. And it's like reviewing what you've been doing and thinking about, is it working? What's working? What isn't working? And adjusting according to that. Those are all the kinds of things that you can do to help better improve your time management skills. And these are all things that I am going to work on, which I already started. Actually, you know what? I'm going to throw one in there that wasn't on my list, but yesterday I spent time cleaning my office because clutter for me makes a cluttered mind. And if I can have my office more organized and things more neat and tidy, I'm going to be able to better stay on track. My mind feels less cluttered and I feel more in control. So that's another technique that can help you too. So these are skills that can transform your personal and your business life. And remember, it's not about managing time. It's managing yourself in that time, in those constraints of time. So I hope you found these helpful. Comment below if you have other tips that are really helpful. I think we all would love to hear if there's something that you do that really works for you. I would love to hear that because I need all the help I can get these days. So thanks for joining me. Let me know if you're watching this on replay. Offer some other strategies and techniques. I would love to hear it. And I will see you again next week on Tease Towel. Thanks. Next week I will be babysitting on Tuesday, so there may be a time change on that one. So I will keep you posted. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.